Good afternoon. I'm Delane Simpson. I'd like to call to order the Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board, June 27th, 2017, 5 p.m., City Hall Commission Chambers. First order of business would be roll call.
Deere.
Yes.
Simpson.
Here.
Dearbone.
Here.
Wilder.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Thank you. Let's swear the board in, please. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Need see if there's any changes to the minutes of the April 25 meeting. If not, entertain a motion.
Make the motion. Second.
Thomas. Deere.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Dearbone.
Yes.
Wilder.
Abstain.
Thomas.
Yes.
Thank you. We have no known comments or announcements unless there are some out in the audience. Thank you. Before I go forward, I'd like to thank our Bowling Green Police to be in attendance tonight. Thank you. Our first case is a parking citation, case number 1. Case 2017-5457-5459, citation 115137, location 850 Wilkerson Trace. Respondent is Michelle Scheffer, excuse me for pronouncing it incorrectly, and the officer is Robert Perry. Is Ms. Scheffner here?
Schneller, I'm right here.
I'm sorry I'm butchering your name, forgive me. Officer Perry, you've got the floor, sir.
I've never been to one of these before. You may just tell you what I did?
Yes, please.
All right. Sergeant Perry, I was on patrol, received a complaint of an illegally parked vehicle at Fairways at Heartland. The complainant advised that it was an ongoing issue for that specific space. So I went to the area. When I got there, I observed a van parked in that space. Saw the handicap spot on the ground. Did not see a handicap placard in the vehicle, at which point I issued it a citation.
Questions, comments? All righty.
Officer, was there any posted signs, you know, like on a pole or a?
It was not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Blaine,
Yes.
officer, I didn't see you get sworn with the rest of these folks. Can we get you to swear?
Oh, I beg your pardon. No, I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Forgive me. You swear to tell the truth, and the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And everything we've said previously was the truth.
Sir.
Thank you. I thought they were always sworn in.
We didn't see his hand up, so we.
Okay, thank you.
If he was, we double swore him.
Well, thank you. Ms. Nadler? Okay, please. Well, we're gonna swear you in now, all right?
Okay, I'm Michelle Schneller.
Please raise your right hand.
Okay,
Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
My daughter Ashley is actually the one driving the vehicle. Her boyfriend had just moved into Heartland Apartments. She's driving my vehicle. After talking to well, let me start back from where I work. I actually work at Western's Parking and Transportation Department. So for specific handicap rules, I went and researched, and the ADA rules state that a handicap parking spot is only enforceable if there is a 7-foot non-reflective sign in which somebody can see when they exit their vehicle, as well as when we teach our children to back into their parking spots. So that's what Ashley did, and so when she got exited her vehicle, she exited to the rear, so she never would have seen a painted sign or on the ground. We did take pictures of other parking spots in that apartment complex, and I don't know if this is a new spot, but the other ones do have the 5-foot easement that the ADA rules state that they have to have, in addition to the 7-foot wide parking spot. And they also have the 7-foot erected sign behind the parking spot. So when she got the citation, although, you know, it does have the handicap thing on the ground, from all the officers that I've spoken to said it's not an enforceable spot because there's no 7-foot erected sign behind that spot. And then it does also not have that 5-foot easement on either side. Also, as you can see in the pictures, there's no kind of ramp that would even allow this to be a quote-unquote handicap spot. There's no way to get a wheelchair ramp or a wheelchair up there. There's no ramp existing in that particular spot that she parked in. And then she also parked, if you noticed on the citation, she got the parking ticket, I think it was 20 after midnight. And there is very minimal lighting. So that's another thing that, you know, when she went to back into the parking spot, had she had that sign behind her, she would have seen it in her rearview mirror, and she would also have seen it upon exit. I've never had a ticket before, so I was not happy with her when she had a ticket in my vehicle. So I told her that we would try and appeal it. So that's why we're here today.
Just for curiosity's sake, nothing about this case, but does Western, all their signs in compliance with that policy you just told me? Again,
Yes.
nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but I'm
Right.
just curious.
Yes, they all have.
And you work there.
I do.
Yeah.
They all do have the sign, and they have specific signs even below it saying, you know, if it's a student or a faculty staff spot. But all of our parking has the easements on both sides. If it has to at least be on one side. So the parking spot has to be at least 11 foot wide. And as you can see in that picture, it's not.
I've got a handicap placard too, and I want to make sure I'm doing it right.
If you ever come to Western, you still have to have
Oh, I
a
do.
visitor's
I
parking
do.
permit.
I do. Okay.
I'd like to talk to the young lady that was driving.
Thank you. Okay, state your name, please.
Ashley Schneller.
Raise your right. You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Ashley, did you know that you were parking in a spot that was marked handicap?
I did not.
And did you not see it? Obviously, it's there. Was it nighttime? What?
It's nighttime, it's dark. I just went there.
How long were you planning to be there? Were you going to be there all night or just
Uh,
for a few
Just
minutes?
a few hours I was there.
I think you,
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I left around, because I have to be home by like early. So I think I left around 12.
well, you got a ticket at 20 after, so.
Oh, 12:20 I did?
Mm-hmm.
So shortly after that.
Very compelling letter, and you certainly did your due diligence. And I think that in light of the information you provided and based upon the state regulations, I would make a motion that we not enforce the citation
Or the
or
fine.
the fine.
A second.
Wilder, Dearbone, Deer,
No.
Simpson,
No.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Wilder,
Yes.
Thomas.
Thank you.
Ms. Schneller, let me ask you, or Ashley, is there any attempt to talk to the apartment management and say, you need to get that
Oh, yeah.
out of there, and
That was one of the things that I was hoping to even come in front of you guys, and I don't know how to go about that. It's her boyfriend that lives there, and like I said, he just moved in, was was it the beginning of May or end? He just moved in there. Yeah, it must have been, because this was May 13th, the beginning
Yeah.
of May. And like I said, they do have parking spots in there that do have the full erected sign. I mean, we have some other pictures, and it does have, you know, that easement that I was talking about. So, I mean, if they want to make these enforceable spots, and I don't know if these are new, the paint looks like they're fresh, so I just don't know how to go about, you know, letting them know that they need to fix those spots. So that's, because it's gonna continue to happen. As the officer said, that whoever called said it seems to be an ongoing situation. So, I mean, she obviously is not the first person who has parked in that spot, so.
I remember the next day, I went back over there, and my boyfriend said that the lady talked to him and said that there's been a problem with it too, so, with people parking in the handicap. So.
One strategy might be, letter, which you did a wonderful job, and send it to the management with a cover letter saying that the Code Enforcement Board did not enforce this. This is something you all need to consider in terms of making it.
I can do that.
And thank you for bringing this to our attention, because obviously I didn't know anything about it, but not that I would have to, but it's something that should be corrected, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We need to do anything else?
No,
Okay.
you're free to go. Thank you.
Okay.
What can we do regarding our particular position and coordinating with whoever regarding?
From what I'm reading on the laws, it's like a lot of laws, like a lot of code. If the existing premises if it's established to be a certain way at the time, unless they make changes in the future, then it would remain that way. So what I'm reading, but what I'm reading on it's back from 2011, so it's still kind of old. But it just says when you restripe it and redo it, redo what you have to do with the lot, that at that point you need to come in compliance at that point. So I don't know. I'm like her. I don't know how new that is or how old that is, but I think if the officer approaches the management there, probably another good way of doing it, getting it going to make sure it properly is marked. If that's an issue, and for him to let them know that the code board denied enforcement of that because of the non-compliance.
And not measures say there's just others like that.
It could be.
Yeah, particularly in these big housing projects like that one, so. Well, anything we could do, I think, would make it better for our citizens and comply with all the laws. Thank you. Case number 2. Case number 2017-4283, citation 2017-4283 at 334 12th Avenue West. Owner is Michael and Tracy McKay. Respondent is Donovan Freeman. And Brad, you got the case, buddy. Please.
This case is the result of a roaming inspection which was conducted on May 1st of this year. During the inspection, I noted overgrown grasses and weeds primarily along the right-of-way of the property. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a compliance reinspection of the 9th of May. On the notice of violation, I took a highlighter and I highlighted the portion which states the property owner is responsible for weeds or plant growth on their property, including easements and rights-of-way. Rights-of-way include the property line to the curb, or if no curb exists, from the property line to the street. On the 9th of May, I re-inspected the property and found that it was still in violation. In an effort to encourage compliance, I left a door hanger, which noted to mow the grass and weeds to avoid a citation or fine. On the 11th of May, 2 days later, I re-inspected and found the property was still in violation. The average height of the grass was over 24 inches. I met with Code Enforcement Coordinator Napper and explained the situation and showed him the pictures. I also showed him where Mr. Freeman had made a sign and placed it in his yard stating it was the end of city maintenance. Napper agreed that the property is clearly in violation and a citation and work order should be issued due to the height of the grass. A citation was issued on that date and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. Photographs were taken of the citation and property at the time the citation was posted, which you see in front of you now. And a work order was submitted for a city contractor to abate the nuisance. While posting the citation, a gentleman approached me who stated his name was Mr. Freeman, and he did not own or live at the property, but he was responsible for maintaining it. He verified that he received both the notice of violation and the door hanger, but refused to comply with the code. He stated the city owns the right-of-way and he will not mow the city's property without payment. He also explained that he has a letter from the city attorney from several years ago stating that he is not responsible for mowing city property. I explained the exact wording of the code and that he is still responsible for maintaining the right-of-way or easement as the code is currently written. He continued to refuse and stated that I would be getting a letter from his attorney. Subsequently, I spoke with the actual PVA-listed owner of the property, who is Mr. McKay. He was very cooperative and apologetic, was sorry that the situation took place, and explained a confusing scenario regarding a transfer of deed for the property to Mr. Freeman some years ago, where Mr. Freeman had signed or purchased the property, but no deed was actually filed with the courts, and so it remains in Mr. McKay's name. Mr. McKay promised he would personally ensure that the property was not in violation in the future, and he or his mowing crew would make sure it is mowed going forward, which it has been. The city contractor mowed the property, and the case was closed after 14 days.
Board have any questions? Mr. Donovan or Mr. McKay here, either one? Would you like to tell us what's going on? Okay, please state your name.
Michael McKay?
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Be honest with you, we've had this issue for a while, and I've been taking care of it because the notice has been coming to my house. But the last ones, they didn't come to my house. Mr. Donovan contacted them. They changed the address to his name. So that's why I didn't know nothing about it until I think I got the fine of $150. So that's when he and I started talking, and then I figured out what basically what it was. But Mr. Donovan, like you're saying, he purchased the property with money, but he never closed the deal. So it's been going on for a long time that, you know what I'm saying, that he won't. So I've been mowing it for years, like I said. But like I said, and every time I'd get a letter, I'd have my guys go mow it. But this time I didn't, because I didn't get a letter. So, but why Mr. Donovan won't take the property into his name, I don't know. It went for years. He wouldn't pay taxes. I was paying the taxes. And then finally, he reimbursed me on some taxes, and now he is paying the taxes, but still he will not take it out of his name. So obviously, I guess it's still my responsibility. So that's why I do mow it when the letter comes to my name, my address, but it didn't come to my address.
Please.
Can I ask him a question?
Please.
Have you given Mr. Donovan a deed? I think that you would give him one.
Oh, yeah, like I said, as long as we clear everything up from day one to now. But like I said, it's just, like I said, you know, I've tied my money up, my time up, and all this stuff, and I don't know what to do about it. I'm in a rock and a hard spot.
Well, I will simply say this, you know, it's in your best interest if he's paid you to give him a deed, because you've got some responsibilities because you're the listed property owner. There's no way the public would know that he's a property owner. Now, you may have gotten the tax thing worked out, but Kentucky's...
Oh, it still comes to me.
Okay.
So everything comes, it's still my property.
Harry Truman once said, "Buck stops here, I'm afraid to stop." So you
Yeah.
Is Mr. Freeman here? Okay. Please raise your right hand, and you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. All righty, Mr. Freeman.
I have 3 questions I'd like to have answered. Is the city code enforcement asking me to work on the city property without pay or liability in coverage?
I'll be glad to answer that.
Please do.
It's your property, sir. All the city has is a right-of-way. It's a right to, it's an easement, and you bought that property subject to that easement. It's your property. City doesn't own that property. You own that property if you look at your property description.
Are you saying that this is above the definition of the property lines and the survey?
Wouldn't be, it would be part of the survey. I haven't seen your survey, but it should be.
Can you show me the agreement that I signed that obligated me to work for the city for free?
Your property. You have an obligation to maintain it.
Do all you commissioners agree that I own the property, even though it says in my deed, the deed 50 feet wide, that I own the rest of the property clear to the curb, or maybe to the center of the street? I don't know where the easement starts. I've done research, and they
What
can't.
if every citizen in Warren County and Bowling Green
They can't tell me.
adopted that position?
They can't
Because
tell
there's
me
an
where the
easement-
property line
There's an
is.
easement on everybody's property. It is on mine. I live in a gated community. It's my responsibility to cut the grass. I don't expect the city to come out and cut the grass, and certainly I'm not gonna cut it and send them a bill.
I've asked the city planning and zoning and the county surveyor. They cannot tell me where your property line is. They don't know if it's a 50-foot street or a 60-foot street. The house has been there 127 years, and I tend to believe the deed, which says it's 50 feet wide, but,
Wait a minute,
it was mowed.
Let me ask you, have you cut this before?
I should point out that I am the general manager for Creative Signs, who is purchasing this property. I take direction from them. I do not, no, I'm just general manager for Creative Signs. It is a pure trust under KRS, similar to a UBO. They decide when, and I sent a letter to McKay saying they're ready to transfer the ownership. Yes, it was my responsibility, and we did mow that for the first 7 years, maybe. And then I discovered that the city property that I was mowing is equal to the lot property, so it doubled the amount of work. Here's a copy of the letter from Eugene Harmon saying that there is no ordinance that requires you to mow the right-of-way, dated August 20, 2013. Code enforcement informed me that that was changed. Was it changed by vote of the city people? Did they notify all the property owners that they now had to mow the right-of-way? I don't think so.
I think the question was asked previously, have you ever mowed this before?
Yeah, I just answered that.
Pardon me?
Yes, sir.
7 years?
About the first few years after we contracted.
So I need to ask Mr. Napper, does the International Property Maintenance Code that I'm looking here take precedent over, I mean, is this what the city goes by? What's highlighted in?
Ordinance.
It says here, the property owner is responsible for weeds or plant growth on the property, including easements and right-of-ways. Right-of-ways include the property line to the curb, or if no curb exists, from the property line to the street.
Yes, well, that's going to be city ordinance is what that's going to be. So that's going to be property maintenance, no. But city ordinance, yes. So property maintenance has been adopted by the city, and we abide by those rules and codes.
Right.
And then, in addition to that, the ordinance steps in Chapter 27, starts in, and this one in particular has been adopted since his letter that he read off from Gene Harmon.
Okay.
And which now supersedes anything he has.
This will precede anything, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'd like to go on record saying I don't have a problem mowing the property. Be glad to mow it. But I don't know how many of you work for free for the city.
We all do, sir, that own property. We all do. We have to. We have to keep our dishes clean.
Do you have legal, liability coverage for what happens to you on city property?
Guess so. That's why I have insurance.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to uphold the citation fine amount of $153.81.
Second.
Deere, Thomas. Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Wilder,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Case number 3. Case number 2017-3280, citation 2017-3394, 1102 Fair Street, owner Y, B, and R Investments, respondent Don Minton. And Brad, this one's yours.
This case is the result also of a roaming inspection. This inspection was conducted April 5th of this year. During the inspection, I noted peeling, flaking, and chipping paint primarily on the right side of the house and around the windows. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a compliance reinspection of May 3rd of this year. On May 3rd, I re-inspected and found the property was still in violation. On May 4th, I hand-delivered a copy of the notice of violation to Mr. Minton and explained that I had sent it 30 days ago and nothing had been done. He stated that he had never received it in the mail. Despite him being designated as a repeat offender, I agreed to extend the case 14 days, as Mr. Minton said he could have it done in 2 weeks. On the 18th of May, I re-inspected and found the property was still in violation. So I called Mr. Minton and left him a voicemail explaining that since I had not heard from him and there had been no changes on the property, I would have to issue a citation and fine on the property. Mr. Minton called me back after office hours and left a message that night stating that he had been trying to hire people to paint and they either wouldn't show up or they would steal his supplies and not do any work. He also mentioned that rain was a reason for the delay. However, it had not rained in the prior 7 days and had been sunny and in the 80s and 90s. The following day, which was the 19th of May, Mr. Minton and I spoke by phone. We agreed to one more 2-week extension. I explained I had absolutely no choice but to issue a repeat offender citation, if not in full compliance at that point, as that would have been 60 days into the case. Mr. Minton gave me his word that the work would be done, stating something to the effect that he would get on a ladder himself and perform the work himself by June 2nd if he had to. On June 2nd, I re-inspected and found the property was still in violation. A citation was issued on that date and posted on the property, as well as sent by first-class and certified mail to the PVA-listed owner and address. Photographs were taken of the citation and property at the time the citation was posted. Compliance reinspection date of June 13th was listed on the citation, which was postponed due to the filed appeal. However, at the end of business on June 13th, Mr. Minton left me a voicemail that the house was painted and ready for reinspection. The following morning, the 14th of June, I inspected the property and found that it was in compliance, and at that time I closed my case. The case was open for a total of 70 days before compliance was gained.
Questions, board? You swear to tell the truth, nothing but truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
As you can see by the photos, it has been taken care of. When we first talked, Brad and I, and I'm sorry, my memory is very vague about it. I know we talked, and I told him I hadn't received the first letter. But anyway, I tried to contact several people, and everybody said, the professional painters said they were all booked up. You know, they didn't know when they could get to it. I told them I had to have it done within a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And finally, I found an individual. Matter of fact, at the time, he was renting from me. His name is Dylan Minix. He said he had that's what he done. He could do it for me. As you can see in the photos, after I hired him, I bought the paint for him. He went over and started scraping. You can see where, from the first pictures, then you can see where he scraped quite a bit of the house. I bought him paint, and he had his brushes and ladders and all that. I went by and seen him scraping the house and didn't think anything else about it. Then went back over a couple of days later because I thought he said it wouldn't take him but about a day or two. Went back over there and where he'd scraped, that was it. Hadn't been anything else done. Tried to get in contact with him and couldn't get in contact with him. Didn't know what happened to him. Finally found another individual to come by. He finished scraping the house and painting the house. That's when I called Brad and told him it was done. Later found out that Mr. Minix had been pulled over and arrested for, he had a bench warrant against him for something, and been in jail. That's the reason I couldn't get in touch with him. But I have to hire everything done now, you know, I just can't do it. But you can see that Mr. Minix, he did scrape quite a bit of it, but
Back to the site. Tim's going to pull up the pictures of when the citation was posted, just so you can see the pictures of the scraping work that had been done. So, again, the citation was issued because the property was not in compliance, because obviously that's not in compliance, but there had been some work that was done between that first extension and the citation issue date. So that just corroborates what his story is with, you know, someone starting the work and then being interrupted.
Personally, Mr. Minton, I'm pleased to see things moving in the right direction for you.
well, I am too, to be honest with you. It's still having the health problems with the family and that, but anyway, like I said, I'm trying to hire most everything done now, and of course I've tried 3 or 4 contractors for the last 3 or 4 months and it hadn't worked out, but I'm finally found some individuals that will do some work. Matter of fact, I had a team putting on a roof. Well, they finished up the roof today on one of the houses. You know, I'm trying to go around whatever has to be done. You know, I can mow if I'm on a riding lawnmower, and that's about all I can do right now.
How many properties do you own now, rental properties?
Somewhere in the 20s, I think.
Questions, board?
I was hoping you all wouldn't see me anymore, to be honest with you, but like I said, I just, you know, when you hire somebody to do something, you know, and they say they're going to do it, you know, you just take it for granted to do it. And I looked for this guy for a week, 10 days. I don't know what it was looking for him. Matter of fact, he still got my paint. I had to go out and buy another batch of paint for the guy that come and painted it all.
I understand you've had some difficulty people you've hired, that's for sure. Really. You have any motion or?
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Have any of the previous fines been paid?
No, I don't know the answer to that. On this specific property, I don't know. I'd have to look. I'm sorry. I should have
All right.
had that ready.
I paid a bunch of fines. I don't know what they were.
Mr. Deere, I can tell you that prior to a sale that Mr. Minton had last month, legal notified us that quite a large amount of prior tax bills, city county tax bills, and code enforcement liens on 2 or 3 properties, and again, quite a substantial amount, was paid by Mr. Minton in order to facilitate the sale of this other property that he had. So I can't speak for all of the properties that, you know, that Mr. Minton has, but I can say it was a substantial amount of money.
That has been paid.
That has been paid, yes. And for what it's worth, since, and this is, I guess, speaking off the book, but since Mr. Minton was here last and designated a repeat offender, to my knowledge, he has not had any citations other than this one. All of his properties he's had on a regular mowing schedule and has been out there mowing them himself, and we've really not had to even send that many notices on those. And I can't speak for Mo, but all the cases in my district, Mr. Minton's come into compliance, and whether it was vehicle related or housing related or whatever in a fairly timely manner. So I don't know if this was just a result of a contractor issue or what, but for what it's worth.
I think we need to get Mr. Mitten a break. He's been before us many, many times. He has spent an awful lot of money in fines and citations, and invariably he comes up with a litany of excuses. Mainly, you can't get people who will work for him who are dependable or you can count on. I'd like to just clean up the record and get him out of here forever. So I'm going to make a motion that we uphold the citation but dismiss this fine in the hopes that we won't see Mr. Minton again in the future.
I'll second that.
Wilder, Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Wilder,
Yes.
Thomas.
Keep up the good work, Mr. Minton. Thank
Okay.
you.
I thank you, fellas. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. And Brad, thank you too for all of you being conscientious. It's not easy, we know that. But here's someone making a concerted effort, finally, but we're getting something done, and that's what we're here for. All righty.
I believe that property on Russellville Road is being taken care of now. It looks like it's being cleaned up, and pretty soon maybe they'll have a nice for sale sign or something.
We were told earlier that the trailer park has been sold,
Oh,
that it's a done deal, so.
I think
That's-
that's how everything got resolved fine and lien-wise, so. And I think you can rely on the fact that whatever we had a lien on got paid because they wouldn't have been able to
Or that-
close.
on
Right.
Yeah. For that property sale.
That is.
Is there any new or old business that we need to take up at this time? Then I will entertain a motion to dismiss.
Make a motion.
Second?
Well, that was quick.
Thomas, Deere,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Wilder,
yes.
Thomas.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, officers. Appreciate it.